Welcome to the second part of our series on a practical approach to change management. In the first video, we described ADKAR, a change management tool that you can use to grade the effectiveness of your implementation plan. In this video, we will review each letter of ADKAR and discuss specific examples and best practices you can use to make your own implementation plan more successful. So let's keep going. In awareness, participants must be aware of the reason they are being asked to change their behaviors. Ideally, this starts at the top of the organization, but sometimes change starts in the middle of an organization. If you find yourself in the position of needing to build awareness for change with leadership, it is often useful to go to external resources to validate your message. Start with major research firms. Gartner, CAPS, and Aberdeen are all examples. Many of their surveys and reports are a great way to see how other organizations are doing things and why they are doing it. The supply management industry also has a growing network of blogs. They play an important role in aggregating content and subject matter expertise. Staying abreast of them can lead you to important research nuggets for use in building your position. Here are 3 blogs that I read regularly. If you are focused on eSourcing, I highly recommend a 3-part series by Mickey North Rizza from her days at AMR. The series is titled Reaching Sourcing Excellence. It highlights the relationship between various aspects of a sourcing organization's people, processes, and tools. It outlines their capabilities on each of those angles and connects them to their ability to generate savings. I've seen this paragraph, and the data behind it, used as a cornerstone for building the case for an eSourcing implementation. These are all ways to gather data that can be used to help support a business case for change. For procurement directors, the information needed to build awareness for change is very similar to that which we just discussed for the CPO. Business cases are usually the foundation for why a procurement director is being asked to change their team's behaviors. Beyond the individual project business case, if a procurement director knows how the project fits into the bigger picture, they are much more equipped to prioritize their resources. Moving on to building awareness for super users and category managers, there are a number of great practices out there. First, never underestimate the importance of the leadership team discussing a new project directly with the team whenever possible. This isn't always practical, though. Many times, users are spread out all around the world. One very useful and easy tool is to use a webcam and basic recording software to record a message from the sponsor. It doesn't have to be a professional film, and companies like TechSmith provide all the software that you need to do it quickly, all available for free under a 30-day trial. So, with a short script, a laptop, and a webcam, you have a personal message from a project sponsor in everybody's inbox. Another simple tip is to leverage an organization's existing communication channels. Creating a new channel for a message is much more difficult than putting your message into an existing channel. Most companies have mechanisms such as newsletters, intranet news, and company update meetings. The people that manage these are typically looking for good content to share. This is a theme that carries forward into our next step. In Desire, we are trying to ensure that the team has the right desire and motivation to participate in the change. A simple way to look at desire is to break it into parts by asking some key questions. What are we asking each person to do? Is the organization motivating them to do it? Does the person have personal drive to participate? For example, if we ask a category manager to act as a part-time super user, and their compensation is based purely upon meeting a savings number within their category, they will most likely make a poor super user. The compensation structure is motivating them to deprioritize investing time in developing capabilities outside of their category. That is not to say that the category managers may not overcome that through personal desire to help others or simply to drive adoption. But when these factors aren't aligned, we are creating additional barriers to change instead of reducing them. Still in the category of desire, one way to create personal motivation is to create an environment of positive peer pressure. By leveraging the adoption measurement approaches we'll discuss shortly in reinforcement, you can systematically identify good stories to publish and share across the organization. I recommend that you plan for your rollout to hit some bumps in the road by creating a greater volume of good news than bad news. Vocal resistors are a perfectly natural part of any change program. The trick is, don't give them the stage. Make sure that you're creating enough volume of good news to overbalance the amount of loud bad news that they're creating as a minority group of resistors. Moving on to knowledge, we're looking to ensure that the team has the right skills and knowledge for the whole change process. Another common pitfall in this area is to only focus on the knowledge and skills needed to use this tool or solution. Knowledge and skills are required across the entire change process, and the specific skills and knowledge needed vary from role to role. If you ask yourselves all these questions and you write down all the skills, it can really become a lot to sort out. Creating a simple skills grid that lists out the skills needed by each resource is a great way to put order around your skill requirements. With a skills grid, you can see who has common skill requirements and who has unique skill requirements. As all projects are restrained by a budget, this information helps you to understand where it's worth investing in more formal, repeatable training deliverables versus where a one-on-one coaching session could suffice. All the awareness, desire, and knowledge won't help you if your people don't have the right tools for the job. In an eSourcing implementation, the eSourcing solution is the primary tool people focus on, but there are many others that can support ability. Most executives love the opportunity to reward good employees. Task your super users with creating a usage reward program awarded to the category manager that has demonstrated their ability to use the tool to drive value. All you need is a certificate, a local printer, monthly status meeting, and a pen. Each month, present that month's award to an executive, ask them to sign it, and ask them to hand it out to the individual in a status meeting. Remember, create tools that make it easy for executives to sponsor your project. For the procurement director, involvement is much more hands-on. They can be in a tough spot where they are responsible for the project, but also spread across multiple other projects. Set up a solid project management organization. This includes things like a steering team, clear RACI matrix, flash reports, issue logs, and lessons learned. Giving the procurement director a clear view into the progress and issues at a PMO level is critical to the successful monitoring and guiding of the team. It is also worth mentioning here the importance of making sure that the PMO is managing the execution of the entire change plan and not just the technology components. I've mentioned adoption measurement a few times. Adoption measurement allows super users and procurement directors to understand how people are using the solution. It typically involves systematically working through a deeper understanding of how system usage is aligned to the business case. At the highest levels, it allows us to understand the overall adoption trends and where there may be low-hanging opportunities. In this example, we see events growing over time, most events being closed out and a decent spread of usage across the users. There is one user who appears to be carrying the load in terms of the number of events created. These high-level views can be deceptive, though. By digging deeper into usage and understanding what is going on at the individual level, super users can begin to understand if users are using the system in a way that helps the business to achieve its goals. In this example, the organization has a strong emphasis on sourcing efficiency. So we are looking at things like average spend per event, cycle time information, and the usage of features and functions that reduce cycle time. If we were to look deeper at the user with the highest event volume, we'll now notice that she also has a very low amount of spend per event. If we go deeper to a high-definition view, we can start to understand how different parts of the organization are performing, and we can account for natural differences in sourcing activities across different categories. The key here is to truly understand if people are using the system in a way that's meaningful. When people are doing it right, we reward them. When we see issues, we educate and we remove barriers. We will see this measurement play a strong role in the reinforcement step. For category managers, the tools we provide them are about effectively executing sourcing projects. In eSourcing, this means developing sourcing templates for them to start from, giving them access to their super users, and an overall support network. One of my favorite tools is a desk reference. Creating a 1- to 2-page document that lists out the most common resources and steps that the category managers will do in a system, it's a great way to help category managers get back into the eSourcing solution after they've left training. In our final step, we are working to remove barriers and reward success. To do this, information needs to flow upwards and action needs to flow downwards through an organization. Some of this is based upon adoption measurement views, while other parts are based upon standard sourcing business reporting, such as opportunity pipeline and savings tracking. If you assume this feedback loop is in place, you can see some of the typical actions that can occur when a category manager chooses to use the solution property or when they do not. One great best practice is to only credit events that are run through the system towards annual savings goals. Similarly, there should be benefits to super users who drive quality usage and penalty for those who do not. The key piece here is that the super user should be measured on the success and penetration of the tool. Another great practice is to add a third KPI to two traditional spend measures: sourceable spend and spend under management. If we add a third, spend in the solution, it helps us to understand where there are gaps between the tool and its potential impact. This is a great metric to measure and reinforces super users' behavior. The measurement and action loop continues as we move to the director, but the measurement becomes much more traditional in nature. Finally, ending at the CPO and direct impact upon financial performance. And that is how we take a little tool called ADKAR and apply it to making your organization more successful at adopting new solutions. I hope that you found this session useful. If you want to learn more about Bravo's solution or get in contact with me, use any of the links on this screen. Thanks a lot for your time.